Darkness falls across the land. Creatures crawl in search of blood.
Nobody knocks off an old man in my neighborhood.
Hello there, welcome to my review of episode 10 of Eerie, Indiana, The Lost Hour. Marshall discovers Indiana doesn't have daylight savings time, and it's the anniversary of a local girl, Janet Donner, going missing. Marshall considers doing his own disappearing act, but just sets his watch back an hour instead to claim his daylight savings time.
You know, Simon, maybe that girl in the milk carton had the right idea. I mean, think of the advantages if we ran away. I don't care what anybody says. I'm gonna set my watch back like the rest of the planet.
When he wakes up the next morning, everyone else has disappeared. Everyone in the whole town. As he wanders around the derelict town, he sees 3 removal men disposing of what looks like a body bag in a garbage truck. He calls over to them, but as they silently approach him, he has a change of heart and runs away, straight into the side of a milk van, knocking him out. A milkman grabs him and tells him he's late. In the real world, Simon, who is staying over for the night, notices Marshall is gone and thinks he's run away. In empty Eerie, the milkman explains that Marshall has disrupted the space-time continuum.
Well, you see, everybody exists just like you left it, except that 1 hour ahead of us.
Huh?
Marshall doesn't really understand, nor does he understand why the old man knows so much about him, or why he's the only one who can save a girl who has been stuck there a year. Janet Donner, played by Nikki Cox. With no one around, he takes his dad's car and heads to the World of Stuff for supplies as he plans to head to New Jersey. But while there, he's caught by Janet, who saves him from the removal men.
Hey! Get off of me! What are you doing? You're that girl in the milk carton.
She doesn't believe him and thinks it's not them that are in the wrong place, but everybody else. She's resigned herself to being alone, but he suggests she goes with him to New Jersey. They briefly stop at Marshall's house, but are attacked by the removal men. The milkman saves them and takes them to Janet's house. He's able to show Janet her family, and the result is she wants to go home.
Look. Marshall, I want to go home.
So the milkman explains that they need to be in exactly the same place they were when they disappeared and set their watch ahead exactly 1 hour. But Marshall's watch is in the real world, so he needs Simon to do it for him.
Simon! Come here! Come here! Set my watch back 1 hour ahead. Now! Oh man! Oh man! Oh man!
As Simon struggles with the controls for Marshall's digital watch, the milkman returns Marshall home and reveals that he is Marshall from the future. Simon manages to adjust the watch and it returns Marshall home just in time, Janet having been returned to her own family. This episode, more than any other so far, establishes more of the lore of Eerie, Indiana, hinting that not only will Marshall live a long life, but that he will be able to time travel, learn far more about the mysteries of Eerie, and that the milk company may be far more important to the goings-on in Eerie, having featured 3 times now. It also delivers an important but subtle message to kids about the dangers of running away from home at a time when it was becoming a more and more serious issue. While the removal men offer a supernatural threat in the episode, they also represent the dangers of people in the real world, all too ready to disappear runaway children. It's no coincidence that the only way to avoid them is to go back to where you left from. It's a creepy little episode that manages to create a tense atmosphere without really establishing the threat as ever being too immediate. If you do have people pursuing you who have all the time in the world, then they don't really have to rush, but you have to remain ever vigilant, which makes them unnervingly threatening. In its short running time, it also managed to demonstrate exactly what state being alone has left Janet in, and Nikki Cox really does a good job of conveying this. Despite its straightforward plot, it remains a very memorable episode. For me, this is a 5 out of 5. Thank you. Goodbye.